run through, whoops. I just want to run through what the rest of our unit here is going to look like, and the rest of our chemistry quarter. And then we'll do some more balancing practice, and I'll answer any questions you'll have. Okay, so yesterday we did reactions and conservation of mass. And then today we're doing balancing reactions. Tomorrow we will have a balancing quiz. And then we're going to talk about word equations. So taking these chemical equations we're seeing and then turning them into, instead of saying, instead of having like Ki plus CO2, it'll be, like potassium iodide plus carbon dioxide, and turning that into a formula equation. On Friday, we're going to do types of chemical reactions, and then we're setting up for a lab. So we'll kind of do a similar process to what we did for the last lab, where we set up together, and you all read through the procedure and make sure you're like really solid on what we're doing on Monday. At which point we're going to start off with a lab, and it's called types of chemical reactions. Do you guys kind of remember like synthesis and decomposition labs from last year? Or sorry, reactions, single and double replacement, maybe a little? Okay, and it's all right if you don't. That's what our lab is going to be on. So just going more in depth on like what are those types of reactions. And then on Tuesday, we're going to do chapter 6 review and time to work on lab write-up. On Wednesday, actually, no, that's mean. No. Will you procrastinate more if I make the lab report due on the Thursday? Or if we have time in class on the Tuesday and it's due on the Wednesday, will that be okay? It'll be okay due on the Wednesday? Okay. So on Wednesday, the lab report will be due. And we'll have a Unit 6 test. On Thursday, we'll start Chapter 7, which is stoichiometry, our final unit. We'll run through that. We do have one formal lab in there, and then the Unit 7 test on the Wednesday. Okay, so what's going to happen in terms of labs is I have your first formal lab. So what I'm going to do is give those back to you on Friday with corrections and what you need to improve on. Primarily, I'm going to focus on your conclusions probably a lot, because that's usually the part that needs the most work. So when you're setting up for lab 5C, you're also going to be looking over your last lab and seeing, okay, where do I need to improve? Again, your first lab is not for marks. Then when we have our lab on Monday, that'll hopefully just kind of be nice and fresh in your head. You will have time to work on your formal lab write-up and have it due. And then this one I am going to mark. So I'm marking this one, Lab 5C, types of chemical reactions, and I'm going to record that mark. And I'll do feedback as well. You cannot resubmit that one for more marks. However, if you do significantly better on the last one, I will only count the last one as your lab mark. Does that make sense? Okay, any questions on that? All right, so basically, with labs, I'm really just looking for improvement. If your final lab report shows that you have really, really improved your formal lab writing skills, that will be your entire lab mark. If these are kind of on par or the last one is worse, your lab mark will be a combination of the two. Sound okay? All right, and I will give you lots of feedback on them throughout the lab, so it's not just going to be a grade. It'll be a lot of like, reword this, make sure this is in different wording, like this is an observation versus what's the word I'm looking for? Inference. So that's kind of the structure of our last little bit. And then again, we're not going to do a unit test. We're going to do a day of course review, and then we'll do course review notes. So I wonder if she has the rubric for you. Has anybody talked to the people who are in Mr. Brett's Chem 11 class? No? What she did was they wrote out like flashcards or some form of course review, and then she has a rubric for marking that. I'll show you all the rubric, and then you'll just hand in your review notes. I will give them back to you and you can take those into Chemistry 12 and it will be awesome and you'll be really well prepared. Yeah, so that is the format of the rest of the course. Any questions about that? I can't believe we're almost done. So wild.